What's up, everybody? Welcome to Why We Love Horror, episode 40-something. I'm John Maher. That's Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks. How you guys doing this morning?
Oh, we're excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, I know that on the channel and on other videos I had promoted that we were one of dozens of Americans who saw a humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. However, in even bigger news, we got early access to another movie that we figured let's just get on the bandwagon now. We saw MaXXXine last night, y'all.
A24 presents the follow-up to a film that possessed a nation. The Puritan 2.
Cut! The blood's wrong. Molly Bennett, meet Maxine Minx.
Pleased to meet you. Sorry.
We've all got blood on our hands now.
The past ain't finished with you, Maxine. Ain't nowhere to hide. There's show business. You never work in this town again. Maxine, what are you hiding?
I've seen the devil stalking me. I can feel his power.
We've made it to the belly of the beast. You must eliminate all distractions, or the beast will spit you right back up.
Drop it! Time to pay for your sins.
It's America's new scream queen.
Maxine fucking Minx.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll carry it right over to Aaron. You're wearing the X hat.
Yeah, indeed.
Give us a little background.
Yeah, so this is the third and final question mark in the trilogy of question mark. The X franchise. This takes place in the 80s, I believe 6-7 years after what happened in X with Maxine Minx, making her pilgrimage to, I almost said plummet to Hollywood, but pilgrimage to Los Angeles. And then there is a killer on the loose called the Night Stalker. And then kind of a mystery unfolds from there. And her path to stardom has some rocky moments, but she will not accept a life that she does not deserve. Drink.
Abby, your thoughts before we get into it?
This movie was on all of our most anticipated list when we did that video. Like, I think it was either like 1 or 2 for all of us. And I think I was not disappointed. I think just from reading some of the things that people have been saying, I think there is some disappointment that I've been seeing, but I personally was not disappointed. I don't know how necessary it was. It feels like it was kind of just added on after X and Pearl both did really well. But again, no disappointment. I liked seeing Mia Goth again portraying this character and seeing kind of where she goes after X.
I would agree pretty much with the sentiment that, again, wasn't disappointed. I think one of the strengths of this movie is I guess it doesn't really fit into a subgenre, does it? It touches on about 5 of them, and it dances through them all, like not in a way that's like jarring, and not in a way that's even like insulting to any of the subgenres it touches. Like, I felt like it was marketed as like a modern giallo film, but it only really is kind of. I think Aaron, we talked about that. Like, there's definitely one scene that's like flat out like, yes, it is. And the rest of the movie, you could describe it as that, but it kind of falls away from that. But then it's also like a period piece. It's also like existential in some sense. It's a character study. It's everything. It's got a lot going for it. Not incredibly long. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. So it's not like Midsommar. Not that Midsommar's bad, but like we're there for 2.5 hours. I think the runtime serves the purpose very well of this movie, and all the performances are excellent. I'm going to say Kevin Bacon first. Again, not that Kevin Bacon's had like a shitty career and he needed this movie, but like he somebody lit a fire under Kevin Bacon, and he brought it. He brought a plus game to this movie. He's awesome in this movie.
Yeah, and just I kind of gave the synopsis, give my thoughts, kind of initial feelings or reactions to the movie. I would probably be the closest to the like disappointed, more I was let down. I wouldn't say disappointed, I was let down a little bit by this movie and how it kind of, for me, it dipped its toe into kind of the giallo and at moments, and I think I had a hope and expectation of more of that, with it being so centered in the 80s and it having like that, like from what I heard from the trailers. I don't watch trailers, but from what I heard, like there was it's good. Giallo came up a lot with it, and it went full giallo for the scene with the video store, which we'll talk about more in detail. And like that was like that in the stomping scene, like those are to me the best parts of the movie. And like for me, like it's like it didn't keep that energy throughout the movie for me. And like the more I think about it, even with MaXXXine's performance in this movie, I love Mia Goth, of course, but I thought even she was just kind of like a little sleepy, and maybe that was on purpose, but she's doing like cocaine through the movie, but maybe it was mixed with some downers, because like didn't seem to work. But maybe that's the commentary on all the cocaine for years. It's the addiction, and maybe that's it, but I don't know if that's what it was going for. But so I was a little let down by this movie, honestly. Like it whelmed me.
I think we can get into this just because I know one of the reasons why some people would be let down. I think Ty West kind of addressed this before the movies even came out. Obviously, like X is X. Like X is like your Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movie where you're going to see the kills and it's going to be gory. Pearl was a straight up character study, whereas there might be kills in it, but we're really focused on showing the psychological deterioration of a character. And I think MaXXXine was meant to be something different. So a lot of the kills, most of the kills in this movie are off screen or subdued or relegated to a buddy cop shootout at the end of the movie. I would say the majority of the kills happen in a action movie sequence at the end of the movie, right? So would you say that's one of the major complaints about it? Just like the lack of.
I mean, definitely, like right away. Any horror movie that does the first couple big major deaths off screen of a murder, like. I like honestly was like, that's not the way to my heart, typically. I'll be honest.
Yeah, we were talking about that driving home last night. I think one of the things that bugged me in the early part of the movie, again, with like not showing, is with the two friends of MaXXXine's. One of them is Halsey. I don't know who the other girl is, but with those two particular girls, they get like captured by this. They think it's the Night Stalker, but it's actually somebody else. That's the whole big mystery in the movie. And you see them like tied up and like freaking out. And I'm like, oh, are they gonna be like making like snuff films and that's gonna be the whole big thing? And it's like, no, they just don't show anything, and then you don't really see, and then their bodies just appear and the police find them. And that felt very underwhelming. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess those characters are just gone now. So I think that was one of the big things in the beginning of the movie that was kind of bothersome. And then again, the ending is my biggest issue with the movie. I really liked this movie a lot until the ending. And I think particularly with like the two cops, yeah, like you don't really see them, like what happens with, well, you do see what happens with them. But the one guy just gets shot off screen and then he dies. And then the Michelle Monaghan character, she somehow gets stabbed by the killer and then she just falls down the hill. And then that's it. It just felt very underwhelming in that aspect with like those kills.
There's a lot of that. It seems like the only really graphic stuff happens around MaXXXine. We'll get right to it. One of the highlights of the movie happens not too far into the movie. Like MaXXXine is just like, walking home alone at night, and there's all the Night Stalker stuff. Night Stalker. A man corners her in an alley. It's like a sexual assault situation is going to happen, but she's MaXXXine. He's got a knife. She's got a gun. She forces the man to strip, fillet her gun, and then she stomps his testicles. Fantastic.
Yeah, that was one of the best, honestly, one of the best kills, whatever moments in the movie. I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that. And I kind of wish, again, like Aaron said, like that energy could have been carried on through the rest of the movie.
And here's the thing is like, everybody's like, oh, you can't do that the whole movie. Yeah, you can. There are tons of 80s movies that did this throughout their whole movie. Did they make $100 million? No. But like if Ty West is trying to like emulate this 80s sicko, which maybe he wasn't, that's what I wanted. So that's my issue with the movie, is that I felt like what he was trying to pay homage to, he did kind of like dabble in for a scene, smash some balls. He had the video store scene. He has the scene. It doesn't even have to be so over the top. The scene with Kevin Bacon's character and her, where she puts the keys between her hands, goes up and starts punching him. I was like, wait, did I see that she put her keys between her hands before punching him? And is she punching him with the keys, or am I like missing something here? That was crazy. Like,
she does fuck him up pretty bad.
Yeah, like really bad. Yet there's still like the room for the comedy to naturally work in there with Kevin Bacon, where he's like, it's personal, like, you know, it's like you're laughing while at the end when it happens, and like Michelle Monaghan's stabbed in the eye with a cross, and like she falls backwards and like tumbles like the clown from Billy Madison or something. I'm just like. And there's like the brave boys next to me who are laughing. Like I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be funny or not, and if it was, like, okay, weird. Like,
well, I think it's the fact like right before she falls down the hill, she's like, "Don't worry, I got him," and then she's like falls down the hill.
Right? Yeah. But I'm like, okay, like it's just like it couldn't make up its mind what kind of 80s it was homaging, I guess. And
I think it was trying to homage everything
a lot. Yeah.
Then
it was very ambitious, and it was trying to do probably too much. Because again, with X and Pearl, it really had like a focus on what the point was and what it was trying to do. And with this one, I think Ty West might have gotten a little big-headed maybe. And it's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm going to put all these things into this movie, and it's going to be great because people love X and Pearl.
But I do want to just dial it back a little, because like
we did like this movie.
At the end of the day, all of the performances I feel like were really, really good in this movie. Some I preferred more than others. Kevin Bacon and Mia Goth. I mean, saying Mia Goth is great in this movie is kind of stupid to say, but at the same point, if we're comparing the three movies and their performances, it's dead last for me. It's not even close for the three movies. X, I feel like her performance as MaXXXine, and then Pearl is Oscar, like another level of like performance, and both X and Pearl, like they led to a conclusion that was so satisfying and so like made sense and deserved. And with this movie, like the ending was, we'll get to the ending more in a little bit, but the ending was really weird and felt rushed or cut, or I don't know, like just didn't feel like the intended ending. So that's where I'm like, was this planned? And they had to keep it open for more movies because they're going to make more movies.
Yeah, this movie has one of those, it has that thing where it ends like 4 times. Like there's a lot of endings, because there's like a daydreaming ending. Then there's like the resolution to the crime spree ending. Then there's the epilogue ending, and then the final shot is also a choice. I would say it's a choice.
Sure.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I kind of agree with you. Like, yeah, definitely, it's a very strong performance by her. It's Pearl's untouchable, I think. Like,
yes.
I don't know. This might be better than X for me, but not by much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only because like her monologue in the beginning when she's doing the casting call is great.
That was
and she has a few other scenes in this movie that are really good.
No, the monologue never reaches that level for me again. One more major issue before we kind of move on from the bashing segment, because this is like what happens when it's the second or first most anticipated movie of the year. So it's falling, like, I'm trying to imagine if I just saw this as, I feel like X and Pearl stand on their own, and I will watch those without having to watch the other one, no problem. I have trouble believing that I can watch MaXXXine without at least watching X before. Like MaXXXine, I'm having trouble imagining in 5 years. I'm like, I'm just going to put on MaXXXine only. Like, I have no trouble imagining in 5 years. I'm going to put on Pearl.
I think MaXXXine, Pearl definitely stands by itself. X stands by itself. MaXXXine has its hooks in X in the sense to the point that there's scenes from X spliced into MaXXXine.
True, right. Which I didn't like also.
It is a direct sequel. And I mean, I kind of knew this going in, just kind of educated guess, I guess. But this is a direct sequel to X. You really don't need to see Pearl to see this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it really is just X and then MaXXXine. Pearl is like its own separate thing, and I think that's kind of what makes it special also. I mean, this is a sequel that just didn't 100% live up to everybody's expectations.
Maybe this is how Ty West eventually spins and says, the trilogy's not over. That was the second movie. The third movie is coming with the new Nightmare ripoff that we're going to make in
that is a fear.
Oof, no, please don't do that. Think of something different if you do.
I'm just saying, if that happens, I'm officially out on Ty West.
It doesn't feel, I don't believe Ty West would do something like that. But whatever. I've been surprised.
I mean, again, this is speculative, and this is about as controversial as I'll ever be. And it's with an A24 movie. So, like, I just had very, very, very high expectations, which I try to avoid doing with any movie because it's very rare that it's going to meet those. So I wanted Freak, Sicko, New York Ripper level throughout, and I didn't get it.
Which I did start watching last night, so I will. I'll give you a full report behind
the rest of the review. I can't wait.
As advertised so far. Basically, I guess so. Let's get into the positives.
Yes.
Like, even though, like we said, it is. Not going to say genre spanning, but I will say subgenre spanning. I think everything it touched upon it hit. Like, even when it got down to the goofy, like Bobby Cannavale and Michelle Monaghan raid the sacrifice of MaXXXine, and it becomes like, the end of Lethal Weapon. I'm cool with it. Like, I thought it was done pretty well. I thought that was shot pretty well. I think all the effects in that scene are good. It's not a bad action scene. It's not a bad shootout. The cops don't wind up. They don't just blow everybody away. Like, they get theirs. Like, they bite off more than they can chew. So it's, even as unrealistic as it is, there's a realism to it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a good time, and it was missing like some screeching saxophone score or something to like really bring it home. If it
the dude from the Lost Boys just
exactly. But no, it's very competently shot. The camera's not shaking around. Like, Ty West knows what he's doing with that for sure. And it's just like there's some moments of peril with MaXXXine. And then we get to the reveal. Do we want to get to the reveal of the Night Stalker?
Go ahead, yeah. We should say this. The other really giallo nod that I'll give this movie is before the killer is revealed, and it's kind of obvious who it is throughout the whole movie, to be honest. So that kind of peels away a little bit of the giallo feel. But when they shoot the killer before they are revealed, and it's just like the black leather gloves, and you hear like the stretching of the leather, and like they're breaking the wood in the peep show booth. You just see the hands. That is straight up, like that's Bird with a Crystal Plumage, Deep Red type shit right there. That is, that's done perfectly.
Right, and that's part of the
sentence.
that's part of the frustration I have is how competently it's done when he does do it. I'm like, I want to see a whole movie where he's doing this because he has the chops to be able to do it. And like, he went there again. I want is it Moses Sumney that plays the video store?
Yeah, he plays Leon.
I really like that actor who I was looking up, and I guess he's also a musician, and he like did a directorial for his music album like 2 years ago. So I'm kind of interested in what he ends up doing because he's only been in Creed and this so far, but he was great. And the way his character dies is so awesome. Like that cut to the back of the neck, and it's just like, and then like the operatic screams as he's getting stabbed, and it's just like that is just like, that is what, like, that is like a perfect, like, again, drink giallo kill. But like I just wish more of it was like that. You know, it's just like it's just like, I hope that like A24 stays ballsy as they continue to grow here, because like the crowd we see it with is like getting grossed out when Kevin Bacon gets smashed and the dogs eat the blood. I'm like, you pussy, like you fucking pussies. Like, the dogs ate blood. I'm like, our dog has ate way worse. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
and they didn't react to the ball stomping. Like, they reacted to the dog stuff more
they're
than
like,
that.
oh, not the dog.
Yeah, that ball stopping. When the ball stopping happens like so early on in the movie, and I guess this is the one big negative thing that I'll take away from it. I was like, oh shit, here we go, and it was just a tease. Like, it was like,
exactly.
You get scenes like that every half hour. Like,
and that's what I'm saying is there's so much promise that is shown in the movie that the moments where it's not fulfilled, I'm going to hold it against it a little bit more, honestly, because honestly he does have the ability and to go do more, be grosser, be weirder. And I just like, I don't want A24 to like get safe. A24 needs to continue to push the boundaries. And
I think Ty West might in the future give us a non-A24 like giallo film straight up. Like that I could see happening.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I would sign up right away. I really would, because this wasn't it. And maybe I shouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, there was a lot of like the detective parts of it. It was a lot of like Seven Zodiac feel, like, you know, that took away from the actual giallo of it. Not that it's as good as Seven or Zodiac.
And it's MaXXXine with 3 X's, right?
Yeah.
Where the fuck was the sex in this movie? Like, come on. Like, this movie was not like, just call it. No.
Yeah.
No.
It goes on in the background throughout the movie, I'd say.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the flashbacks, like when she puts in the tape, it's like the video from like the recording from X, and then in the beginning she walks through a strip club. It is very much so in the background of.
Yeah,
it's ironic with all this satanic panic. It's so cleansed.
Yeah, like I think you're right. It was very ambitious. This was meant to be like, it's a giallo film, it's a video nasty, it's a satanic panic, it's a police procedural, it turns into an action movie. It's all of those things, none of them done poorly at all.
Just not fully committed to.
It's a lot of things that happen, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we talked about the big reveal. Like, obviously, we know from the end of X.
Did we actually say the big reveal? Who it was?
No, yeah. We know from some of the dialogue in X and the end of X that MaXXXine is a preacher's daughter, and this all even though we're force fed the Night Stalker the entire movie, that's just a red herring. And I think as you're watching it, you kind of know it's a red herring because the dude that's killing everybody is not the Night Stalker. It is a manufactured satanic panic based around a real satanic panic, but they're building it up even more because they're staging the bodies to look like extra Night Stalker victims, because MaXXXine's father is a preacher who's filming a documentary to show that girls are seduced by Hollywood, and he's going to save his daughter in the finale of this movie. Felt that actor was a little over the top.
He was very good.
That's my only like true like dude what complaint about the movie. It was like real. I mean, I know there are people like that, considering she's probably from Oklahoma, Arkansas, wherever the hell she's from. People like that exist. Wasn't expecting to see him show up like this in this movie.
No.
Yeah, and this was my biggest complaint and negative of the movie is I didn't like the reveal, and I didn't like what the dad was doing. I guess I kind of understood the motivation, but like filming, like I just didn't get it, and it didn't work for me. Again, the actor was incredibly goofy, probably on purpose. I don't know. But then the reveal, it did feel a little too obvious. Like when I was watching the movie, I'm watching it because the movie opens with a flashback, and it's like a video recording of MaXXXine as like a kid, and you hear the dad in the background like talking to her. And even again from X, as we mentioned, like, you know that there's this weird relationship with her and her dad. So I was like, is it really going to be that obvious? But there wasn't any other characters that I was like, I don't know if I see it. At first I was like, could it be the director? Or are they going to like do a flip there. No, it was the dad, and it was too obvious, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what the dad did, and I didn't understand the motivation. And I just didn't like how it ended like that. I don't know. It just really didn't work for me.
Which, even though it's weird, you understand why it happened, because that means that it's since the dad is the killer, that means that he did go to the peep show to watch his daughter perform.
Yes. I didn't like that either.
That would explain like why he rips the bar off the wall, but like weird. You could have left that as soon as you identified, you could have went, that's all the proof I need, and he stays.
He really, yeah.
Yes.
Also had that thought. Yeah. Ditto to Abby. Honestly, like, yeah, the third act is by far the worst act of the movie. And I was just kind of like, it was over the top, not in ways that I found enjoyable or weird. I found just odd and found as ways trying to extend this franchise.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays the father, Simon Prast, has not been in anything much aside from this and X. He's the voice of the televangelist, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he's been in a few other small movies, and that's really it. So, but you know, I imagine Ty West wanted him to act that way, or otherwise he wouldn't have had it that way. So it is what it is. Anything we didn't touch on in this movie before we get into
the shot of the Bates Motel sign.
Oh yeah, I know you want to say that. Go ahead.
And her saying, "This is the motel from the movie Psycho," or whatever she said.
This is the Bates Motel.
This is the Bates Motel
From
Psycho. She says it out loud. That lets me know what kind of audience this is made for, and it's just not made for me, which is weird for an A24 movie. Don't usually say that.
Fair enough. What I had said, and like I always like to counterpoint everything Aaron says, but like I felt that was just Elizabeth Debicki's character being a condescending British person. That's what I felt.
God, that's giving it such the benefit of the doubt. Like Ty West is gonna hire you. Like
Mr. West, if you need anybody to do publicity for your movies,
like that is such sure. I hope so. Yeah,
I don't know. She seemed pretty stuffy to me, Aaron. I don't know.
Right, she was tall too.
She is very tall and literally talking down to Mia Goth. All right. So we'll go on to what we thought about the old movie. Well, I know who we're going to go to first. Aaron, go ahead.
All right. Well, you know, this is a better plot twist than any plot twist in the movie. I don't love this movie. A24 does make movies that I don't love. Green Room is one of them that people love. I know. I don't love that movie. I know. Trust me. Ironic, since the people in the bar would also feel that way about me as the people who love Green Room. Not calling them that. But for MaXXXine here, I was whelmed by this movie. I'm trying to remove my unreasonable expectations of this being one of my favorite movies of the year, which sometimes works for a movie, it sometimes doesn't, and just take this movie for what it is. I think it's very well made. It really is. I have some preferences that I wish were a little bit different about it, but that's me and my sick, weird ways. So there are those movies that exist. It wasn't this. It still is very good, especially the first two acts. Everybody in the movie shows up and like has great performances. Kevin Bacon, Giancarlo Esposito, all the above are great. So 3.5 for me, videotape still, which, you know, sometimes, you know, I think that maybe this is more of a 3 for me, but I'm going to be fair here and give credit where credit is due. The video store scene, so many other scenes in the movie. And then, you know, it's all seeing Mia Goth in this role. I don't want to ever take it for granted, but I hope this is the end.
Got it. I know you're very upset in the casting scene when they say show your breast. They don't actually show her breasts, Aaron, and you were very vocal about that. All right, Abby, go ahead. What do you think?
So yeah, I really did like this movie up until the ending. Really did ruin it for me. Like as I was watching, once we got to where Kevin Bacon died, like after that, like before that, I was like, this is going to be a 4.5 for me. Like this is going to be great. This is going to be in my top 5. And then after Kevin Bacon died, and then we go to the whole reveal and the dad stuff, I was like, oh, no. It's still really good because of all of the lead up to all of it. Again, I think Ty West did a really good job of directing this movie. These are definitely some of the better movies that he's done. I'm not a fan of his like earlier stuff. But yeah, everybody did really well. So I give this a 4.
All right, fair enough. Sacrament is perfect. But anyway, that being said, I'm probably the biggest fan of this movie. I did everything I pointed out that were flaws are really just nitpicks. Like, yeah, the tonal shifts are weird. It goes all over the place. But I was strapped in the entire time. I liked all of them. You guys have points that like it would be cool to see them expanded into total movies. But the patchwork that Ty West puts together, I was locked in the entire time. I had a blast at this movie. I'm 4.5. Actually cracked my top 5. If you watched a show about shows on the Pierce shows last night, MaXXXine ranks as my current number 5 of the year. I don't think it's a hang on to that spot, to be honest. But as of this moment, all right. And like we do every week, let's talk about the Why We Love Horror Challenge. All right. So this week, this is what week. Are we on week 27 already? Oh my goodness! Like we're almost more than halfway down the year. It's week 27. This was watching new French extremity horror movie, and you know, there's you have your classics. You have your core group that everybody knows about. You got your High Tension, your Martyrs, your Frontiers, all that stuff. Apparently, there's a ton more movies that kind of fit into this umbrella. So we dug a little deeper. I'll go first, and before I go, I'm remiss. I did not throw the screen. If you want to play along, it's week 27. So maybe we don't want you at this point, but it's week 27. Join in. At the end of that, lowercase r, lowercase l, capital W, lowercase d, capital I. There you go. You'll be on the page. New French Extremity. So I went back kind of not to the roots of New French Extremity, but to the roots of one of the directors who associate with New French Extremity. And I watched Gaspar Noé's debut film, I Stand Alone, or Country, so yeah, whatever it's called in French. Wow. Talk about a character study. It's a character you don't want to study, but it is a character study. This gentleman, the butcher, has lots of views on life. He is every ist you can imagine. He is a misogynist, racist, everything. But he lives his life, and he blames everything around him for his failures. And the movie it definitely goes places. What I said in my Letterboxd review is that if you want to lose friends, just put this movie on, and then at the end of the movie, say you agree with that guy. I guarantee the person will never talk to you again. Abby?
So surprised. I didn't watch a movie yet this week, but I have a couple that I'm going back and forth between. It just kind of depends on what I can find and what's available. Because aside from all of those core New French Extremity movies, some of them are hard to find. There's a movie called Them that it's been on my list of wanting to watch. There's also Livid that I have wanted to watch. And honestly, there's a lot of Gaspar Noé that I haven't seen. So I could honestly watch any of his stuff. I've seen Irreversible and Climax and all of that, but there's a lot of his other ones that I haven't seen that I could definitely pick from. I think those are pretty easy to find. So you can just find me on Letterboxd to see what I watch.
All right. So I ended up finding a movie. It's from 2002, Maléfique, by Eric Valette. It's 4 very interesting individuals who are trapped in a jail. It's a shot in a one location movie, low budget, but I felt like the budget wasn't that obvious. I think that they did a good job. There's like some interesting practical effects, and like all the characters are very different. There's like a drag queen with real boobs that they never explain why. There's like a mentally challenged individual who's like eating everything on the ground. There's a guy carrying around a doll trying to get back to his son. Very interesting characters. Doesn't quite work as well as intended. And this guy also went on to make the 2008 classic One Missed Call, which I don't think anybody has ever liked. So yeah, this guy might be a hack, but this movie was interesting at least. It's not great, like 3.5 type of movie. And I watched it super late last night.
Fair enough. All right, that's what we did for this week, and that'll wrap up the show for this week. So yeah, if you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you did come here looking for a review of Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, we are going to do that as an extra because we are fully expecting to catch Longlegs by this time next week. So we'll be reviewing that for you. But like I said, the schedule is always the same. Monday is Versus, Wednesday are special editions. You might find the Humanistic Vampire review next Wednesday because we know you haven't seen it, suckers. Thursday is this show, and then sometimes, not today, but other Thursdays we go live on TikTok. Myself and Hunter will do that. People show up, we riff, and then every Friday is Why We Love Horror Trivia. You get at least 2 matches of that. So thank you for stopping by, and we appreciate your patronage.